Welcome to the Gruber Morning Show. This is our weekly AI podcast, and solo today. Two co-hosts are doing other things. One isn't feeling well, and the other one has some family issues to tend to, so it's just going to be me today. And today's theme is has to do with how the machines are becoming more like us, more of a bioorganism. And but before I wanted to go into that, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to bring something up on the screen here. If we can start playing this. This was from our communications group podcast. You won't be able to hear the audio, so I'll paraphrase a bit. But the two hosts there on the left and right of me are humans. What you see in the middle is my avatar. And what's amazing is if I didn't tell you that, you might assume that I'm really there with these two guys. Now, to really drive the point home, the script here went something like this. I'm Pete Gruber, and I'm so excited about the employees that work here. I've decided to make some major changes, which include giving everybody a 40% raise. And I think by the time they figured out that this may not be real is when I said I'm also going to give everybody a Cybertruck. So what is amazing, though, is if you look at the realism here, it's difficult to really tell that this is not a human being.
Yep. So just to clarify things, we're not getting the Cybertrucks.
Just to clarify,
okay.
yes.
Well, what about the 7 weeks of vacation or something?
Oh yeah, there were a whole bunch of provisions, and they didn't tell me what the content or the script was going to be. So I'm sitting upstairs in my office, I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, holy moly, what will be the ramifications of this one? You know, all of these expectations that appear to have been set by myself. So anyway, the point here being is technology is improving tremendously. And later on, we're going to talk about a court case where they're using this very same technology for a very profound result. But getting back to the thumbnail theme, we're going to talk a bit about, and we can shut that down now, guys. Is that still me? It's I've still got that live here. All right, I'm going to escape. There we go. Minimize that, and I've got another image here for you. And this one is interesting. Full screen on this. This is a BioBrain, call it. A new computer breathes like a brain and thinks without wires. This was in California, at Stanford actually. It was researchers there that built a brain-inspired supercomputer that operates entirely using light and engineered proteins, which mimics the way that neurons process information in our brains. This photonic biological hybrid, they call it, uses optogenetic switches and nanoscale protein circuits to fire logic signals through light pulses, no transistors, and no traditional power grid. The system, of course, is inspired by the human brain's efficiency, which is a biological organism that uses about 20 watts of power to process vast streams of data in real time. We're talking about your brain, folks. Compare it to a 20-watt light bulb, and that's how much energy your brain consumes when it's operating. This new computer now does the same thing except with zero fossil fuel energy and minimal heat. Instead, they say, it's processing ones and zeros, and it uses a graded signal strength like natural synapses. Complex problems such as pattern recognition or real-time decision-making are solved in a way that's more fluid and more adaptive than traditional AI. So forget about the computers, the bits, the algorithms, the ones and zeros, as they say. This is quite a bit more like us now. Now, they say the implications of this are staggering. Light-speed neural computing, systems that could think, quote unquote, in real time like a living brain, and machines that learn, adapt, and reason without needing bulky processors or cooling fans. They say this isn't science fiction, this is the first glimpse of biological computing, and it's here. So we're going to see a lot more of this technology as they continue to develop it. Now, another image here, and this one is the image on our thumbnail. What we've got here is a robot that is a combination bioorganism. And the headline here was, they don't just move, they heal, they grow, and evolve, and the age of living machines has begun. You know what, guys? I realize I've got some chatter in my background here. I still have that video live. There we go. We'll get rid of that. I heard it coming through my microphone.
The audience wasn't hearing that, so I think you should be good.
We're okay. All right. By the way, speaking of audience, if you've joined us, feel free to comment. Let us know you're here, and ask any questions or provide any inputs or clarifications if you find any. So anyway, here they're talking about a soft robot that just took its first steps by growing its own legs. In a recent experiment, they say, scientists created a biohybrid robot capable of regenerating muscle tissue. After damaging one of its limbs, the robot initiated a biological repair process, and within days, it had regrown enough tissue to begin moving again without human intervention. Now, they say this wasn't just a mechanical patch job. The robot's muscles were made of living cells grown in a lab and integrated with a synthetic framework. When injured, the cells activated their natural repair mechanisms, similar to how salamanders regrow lost limbs. So this is a glimpse into the future, they say, where machines evolve like organisms, adapting, healing, stronger after every setback. Remember, we quote Isaac Asimov often in that he says that the machines are going to become more like humans, and humans are going to become more like machines with augmentations, with replacement organs that may not be the same type of tissue material that we are accustomed to. Have another image here will pop up, and this stays in that same vein. Here we go. And this one is fascinating because it has medical application. The headline here is, they don't look like robots, they don't even need power, but they can swim through your veins and kill cancer from the inside. So the way this works, apparently, get my article here. There we go. All right. Bear with me. I have a very slow mouse. So these little nanobots are not alive, but they can swim, sense, and kill like precision assassins. Meet magnetically guided microbots, they say, synthetic machines that are smaller than a human cell, designed to navigate your body and target disease from the inside out. These are built from metals, polymers, and even bacteria, and these bots are controlled by using external magnetic fields, allowing doctors to steer them through blood vessels and tissue with astonishing precision. Some are shaped like corkscrews, spinning through fluids. Others mimic sperm or bacteria to propel themselves where no scalpel could ever reach. What can they do, they say? Well, they can deliver drugs directly to a tumor. They can drill into biofilms that antibiotics can't touch. They can even perform microsurgery in places too delicate for human hands and too intrusive. No batteries, no wires, just magnetic control, smart materials, and the relentless march of nanotech into the human body. The final part of this article is, this isn't science fiction, it's the early blueprint of a future where robots will heal us from the inside out. one of the predictions is that by the end of this year, a cure for cancer, or a antidote, as they call it, will be available. Okay. So let's
Pete?
yeah.
Would you put those in your body?
Yes.
There's some hesitation there.
Well, no, you remember, I'm the guy that has been welcoming the insertion of various types of hardware, augmentations into the body. Biofeedback devices, for example, that will record my the physiology of what's going on in my body. Too much sugar in the blood? Do I need to hydrate more? What kind of mineral deficiencies do I have? There are 99 critical minerals that the body requires in order to function properly. It would be nice to have receptors of some type inside the body that would actually tell me what it is I need to do. And the end result, of course, is a healthier body, a body that lasts longer.
So the question about that, though, what happens if, because there's going to be, with any product, there's going to be a margin of error. So what happens if it tells you need twice as much sodium as you need, or somebody hacks it and tells you need twice as much sodium as you need or something, and they could just put you out of commission for that day, or they could even kill you?
Well, you've just described life, upsides and downsides. If the upside outweighs the downsides, then it seems to be a prudent choice or a prudent way to go. You know, we all go through life oblivious to how much damage we're doing to our body, especially when it's, self-generated, you know, whether it's alcohol abuse or poor diets. And I know I'm on your case constantly.
No sleep.
Sleep. Yeah.
Fast food.
And then, of course, the mental machinery. The notion that we create our own reality. Interesting comment that I heard recently is when worrying is actually inviting the very thing that you don't want.
That's a very good point.
And it will manifest. So,
you're focusing on it.
Yeah.
You're putting all your attention and energy into it.
Yeah. And conversely, as many of the authors that write books on success will tell us, is if you focus on the things you want, they eventually manifest. So anyway, the original question was, will I allow intrusive devices in my body? I think that our bodies will eventually be hybrid anyway. You may have two arms. One is super strong, impervious to heat, temperature, even voltage, electricity, or whatever. It's much more durable and much more robust than your other arm. And eventually, both of your limbs may be that way. Legs, just think if we had some advanced, mechanisms to propel ourselves. We would all be Olympic athletes now, running the 100-yard dashes and jumping higher than any other human. All of that is possible. And then, of course, the final thing is, as we age, these limbs, the tissue, the bones, they deteriorate. With these augmentations, that's no longer the case. In fact, there are improvements constantly that you can avail yourselves of.
So that's the thing that concerns me about putting nanobots in there is what happens, just like when a new cell phone comes out every year, what happens when your nanobots are out of date? Are they going to biodegrade naturally inside of you so you can get more, or are they just going to be in there obsolete forever and just break down? Or
I hope not. Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about that Soviet probe that was sent out in 1972, and it was completely disabled and finally came back.
Yeah.
Good questions. So here's another image for you. This one had me chuckling. The headline here is, New AI enables knitting robots to instantly replicate fabric designs from a single image without any human involvement. My first response here was, we're always concerned about, jobs that are going away. Well, this one is going to replace grandma. I mean, who in your family does any kind of knitting? That has usually been the realm of the aged, patriarchs and matriarchs. The way this one reads is researchers at Laurentian University in Canada have developed an advanced AI model that enables knitting robots to instantly reproduce fabric patterns from a single photograph. Now, this is a no-brainer for AI. You know, looking at patterns, for example, replicating, following a process. I'll bet this knitting is absolutely perfect. So they say that the system translates visual designs into a machine-readable knitting instruction without any human input necessary. This innovation relies on a two-step deep learning process. First, converting the images into a simplified stitch map, then transforming those maps into precise instructions for knitting machines. With tests on 5,000 samples, the yield was over 97% accuracy. The model can even handle complex multicolored yarns and rare stitch styles, paving the way for fully automated, high-efficiency textile production.
It's hitting every industry. Oh, I think my mic's up. It's hitting every industry. It's gonna
And replacing even grandmothers.
True.
Yep. So grandmas are definitely going to have to be part of that large unemployment fund called the UBI, Universal Basic Income. So Mark Zuckerberg made some interesting comments this last week, and I love it when these guys in the limelight, and there are a few of them now. Dr. Peterson, for example, the guy that interviewed Elon Musk, right? I see him constantly, everywhere. Probably because I'm curated, I watch a couple of his things. Next thing you know, that's all I'm seeing. Yeah. We've got, of course, Elon. He's quoted constantly, and I'm beginning to realize that some of the quotes that, or some of the things he's saying, have to be fake news. The
Elon,
comments,
oh, yeah.
the comments about his ex-wives, for example. Why would you disparage your ex-wives? You just got over with a divorce. They got a huge settlement. They took you for billions, right? Don't antagonize them. It's much safer to just let
especially when you have
that dog sleep.
10 or 12 of them.
Yes, exactly. So, but anyway, with these people in the limelight, Mark Zuckerberg's in focus right now, and what he said was, he says that we are going to have AI friends, AI therapists, and AI business agents. And he said this is the future for this. This is our digital future, as our AI friends will outnumber human companions.
True.
Yeah. We've talked about this endlessly. When you go home, wouldn't it be nice to have an AI robot, a humanoid robot, that would begin to do some therapy with you? How was your day? What kind of rough spots did you have? Well, did you think that maybe the person that said that made you feel a certain way intended something else? And, basically walk you through, like any good psychologist, psychiatrist, or therapist would, through your thinking processes to help you process life. And of course, that's not the only one. You'll probably have a cook in the kitchen, or a maid doing dishes, making beds, ironing clothes, landscapers, pool people, maintenance people, all of that. So I think Mark is right. We're going to have more AI friends, and these will eventually become friends. We'll realize that they have a personality. Can we say that?
Yeah.
They have a unique way of looking at things. They have a unique set of skills. And there's nothing wrong with having machine-type friends like this. So, Mark, I think you're onto something here.
Well, Pete, we've talked about using it here for our call center.
Totally, yeah.
So, or even our receptionist, Ann, over there, we record all of our calls. We could download, an hour's worth of footage of Ann speaking to customers and then build a perfect version of Ann to answer calls for us.
I so hope that Ann is not listening to this podcast.
Right.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. There are so many functions that, can be done by the type of technology that we are beginning to realize is available now. All right. The Soviet spacecraft that we talked about, and here we go. I've got an image of that as well. It kind of woke me up to the fact that there's a lot of space debris up there, and it's dangerous. Mm-hmm. You don't know where it's going to land, like with this thing. So here's how this story reads. Cosmos 482 is what it was called, was a Venus probe that was launched by the Soviet Union, mind you, in 1972. This was before, all of the changes occurred in Russia. Well, this thing never quite made it. And what happened was it malfunctioned shortly after launch, so it stayed in Earth orbit. It was originally designed to go to Venus. So it had some technology that was rare for space hardware, in that it was designed to survive extreme heat and the pressure of Venus's atmosphere. It weighed just over 1,000 pounds, 1,190 pounds, and oftentimes the space junk doesn't survive re-entry. It burns up.
Yeah.
But this one was built to handle that kind of extreme heat. So this one was going to come back to Earth, and it could have landed in your backyard or your bedroom or on top of your car, for that matter. They didn't know where it was going to, precisely where it was going to land. Well, what happened was, 53 years later, this thing was launched in 72. May 10th, it crashed into the Indian Ocean just west of Jakarta, Indonesia. Which is a good thing because there's nothing there except some fish maybe that might have been affected by that. So the event, though, they say, draws renewed attention to Earth's growing space debris problem. According to the European Space Agency, roughly 3 large pieces of space junk re-enter Earth's atmosphere every day. Did you know that? 3 every day.
But like you're saying, most of it doesn't make it to Earth, luckily.
Yes, luckily. And it's going to only increase because the rise as Earth's satellite mega constellations expand. Have you seen maps from like 5 years ago to now showing the satellite density that is encircling the globe?
Yeah.
It is dramatically different. Lots of stuff. And what goes up eventually comes down. Wasn't that Newton's law?
Yeah. Well, what happened? Did this thing run out of... There's no way it had fuel for 53 years, right?
It was stuck in orbit for 52 years, Earth's orbit. It was originally intended to actually get past Earth's orbit and head toward Venus, but because of a rocket launch or a problem with the propulsion system, it literally stayed for 52 years in Earth's orbit, which is also remarkable because it had to be a very precise, orbit, because they usually decay or increase, go out into space. So it's been circling above us for 52 years, and a whole bunch of other junk is up there that will eventually come down. All right. We had an interesting thing happen here in our state, in Arizona, actually Chandler, Arizona, one of the suburbs of Phoenix. And this was a court avatar. Interesting story in that it was a murder victim who the family created an avatar of for the final sentencing in court of the perpetrator. And this is the first time that something like this has happened. The Pelkey family used artificial intelligence to create a video using the victim's likeness to give him a voice. Just like that earlier avatar that you saw of me on that podcast. Mm-hmm. So this AI rendering of the victim, Pelkey, told the shooter during the sentencing hearing last week that it was a shame they had to meet that day in 2021 under those circumstances, and the two of them could probably have been friends in another life. Now, the judge allowed all this, which is also remarkable, because these seem like courtroom theatrics in a very serious process, which is a murder indictment. But he also said, or this avatar said, "I believe in forgiveness and in God who forgives. I always have and still do." And then the avatar told the murderer, Gabriel Paul Horcasitas, that basically all was forgiven. The interesting thing about this is Pelkey's family did not agree with his viewpoint. They felt, in fact, that they felt a lot of anger over his death, and they asked for this murderer to receive the maximum sentence. But because they felt that her brothers, it was his sister actually that was doing all of this, she wanted to respect his wishes, and the judge said, even though the family did not feel the same way Chris would have, they allowed this avatar to speak from the heart, basically, and the family actually concocted this message to the murderer. The shooting happened, by the way, November 13th, 2021. It looks like road rage. Both drivers were stopped at a red light, and they both got out of the truck, and that's when the murderer shot Pelkey. The concern now, this is opening up a kind of a new way of courtroom proceedings, potentially. The concern is that among the judiciary and among lawyers, that deep fake evidence will be increasingly used. And it's easy to create. Anyone can do it with a phone, and it could be incredibly influential because judges and juries, just like the rest of us, are used to believing what we see.
Now, hold on. Was this used in the actual trial or just the sentencing?
Just the sentencing, yes.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, they drew a line there because in the sentencing, the rules aren't quite as strict.
Yeah.
So they said that, the judge said that the AI-generated video worked because there were nearly 50 letters from family and friends that echoed the video's message. So people that knew the victim corroborated that this would have been the message that he would have, sent to this murderer. But this one made the headlines. This one made the news. It's the first time anything like this has been used in court. All right, got another image here, and this has to do with AI history. AI is not new. It was coined in 1956 by John McCarthy at the Dartmouth Conference, which is considered the birthplace of AI as a field. And that, of course, is a concept that has changed the world. Right. We have absolutely no visitors today. Is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have people watching, just no comments.
Okay. Well, it's okay to watch and not comment. I just like hearing from them from time to time. All right, so Tesla, and we've reported on this before. Tesla is actually, again, requesting employees to mimic or to train the Optimus robots, which will propel the Optimus development. The new hires, they say, will be critical in supporting Tesla's data collection team to refine the Optimus bot. The primary responsibilities include gathering data, addressing engineering requests, providing equipment feedback, and candidates must demonstrate data-driven decision-making and enthusiasm for robots. In other words, Cass, you could never get this job. They are looking for someone with an enthusiasm for the field of robotics and a strong desire to contribute to the development of the Tesla bot. They have working hours 8 to 4:30. They say operators will walk predetermined test routes daily, wearing motion capture suits and virtual reality headsets to perform specific movements based on project needs. The requirements include the ability to walk over 7 hours daily while carrying 30 pounds and a height between 5 foot 6 inches and 6 foot, and comfort with extended VR use. The candidates must also exhibit hand-eye coordination, body awareness, and the ability to travel up to 25% of the time with daily regional driving. Now, Elon recently showcased the Optimus advancements, sharing a dance video highlighted in the Tesla bot's agility and swift progress. If you remember when the bot was first announced at one of the shareholders' meetings, it was really a human in a robot suit that looked like the Optimus.
Yeah.
And it was pretty fake. It was obvious it was a total fake. The next earnings call, they actually did have an Optimus robot, but I think he was hanging off of a contraption that supported
I'm
it.
gonna pull up a video and show you. Have you seen the new video?
Let's do the new one. Yes.
Let me pull that up real quick. Over to my laptop.
And it's
view.
not just Elon's Optimus. Boston Dynamics, for example. These things are actually doing parkour nowadays. They're doing construction work. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what this looks like.
Yeah, I was showing Cass this morning, and she absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Don't lie. I hated it. I don't like the Boston robots either.
No, they are scary. Now, this looks like an Elon dance. What is that saying? White robots can't dance?
Oh my god.
It's
I mean, it's definitely. It does
Much
look like it
improved.
was human trained, though. You
Yeah,
can tell it's like just following somebody's pre-recorded path, probably.
very much so. But yeah, you can tell it's just light years from what it was a year. And that was about a year ago, I think, when this stuff first started to surface.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. I want to see some Michael Jackson moonwalking, don't you?
I could probably do it.
Yeah, probably. So anyway, if you're looking for an interesting career, they are looking for people that can actually train these bots. And they say that Morgan Stanley analysts project a $5 trillion market for humanoid robots by mid-century. We're talking about 25 years from now. And Tesla's Optimus is poised to capitalize in industrial and commercial applications. All of them really are pushing boundaries of robotics, data collection, and it's going to be interesting to see how we integrate with machinery like this. Got a couple of comments, or at least one. YouTube, RC Robinson, thanks for joining us. He says, RC here, listening and building an RC car. Upvoted, thank you. Good for you. All right, let's see what else we've got here for you guys. Here's one. The world's biggest supercomputer aims for 1 million GPUs. Right now, and this is, by the way, Elon Musk's AI startup, XAI, making waves in the supercomputing world with the massive Colossus system. This thing was constructed in Texas in 122 days. I didn't think anything was possible outside of China that fast. But yeah, it happened.
I think that's why he went to Texas to build it, because the regulations are so lax.
Never would have happened in California. Is that what
No,
you're saying?
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So now right now, this thing is running with an eye-watering 200,000 NVIDIA GPUs. And the ones we're familiar with are, what, $36,000 a piece?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of
the
get
H100s.
you kind of get an idea what kind of money is involved in this. And they say Musk isn't slowing down. The ambitious plan is to push that figure to an unprecedented 1 million GPUs, making Colossus the largest supercomputer ever built. So this Colossus has not only set the speed record for deployment, but also sparked fresh conversations around the environmental and energy implications of mega-scale AI infrastructure. This facility, it's not Texas, sorry, it's Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is Memphis one.
Yep. Is backed by a 150 megawatt substation and a hefty fleet of Tesla Megapack batteries, offering both power resilience and potential to feed energy back to the grid. Now, Colossus serves as the training ground for XAI's largest language model, Grok 3.
Yeah.
And it promises leaps in reasoning, coding, and world knowledge. It's also designed to support Musk's social platform X, while gunning for rivals like OpenAI and Meta AI. However, they say scaling from 200,000 GPUs to 1 million will demand a staggering increase in power, forcing XAI to rethink its earlier dependence on natural gas and seek greener, more scalable alternatives. They're going to need a lot of electricity. As Musk's startup races ahead, they say, the industry is watching closely not just to see if XAI can deliver on its AI ambitions, but also how it manages its energy footprint in such a colossal undertaking. All right. Let's look at this other item here, and this one has to do with cancer. I don't have a picture of that one, right? The headline here reads, "The End of Cancer?" Well, they say that cancer vaccines are no longer a distant dream. They're almost here. Thanks to groundbreaking technology in mRNA technology, it's the same thing that was behind COVID-19 vaccines. Scientists are now developing a personalized cancer vaccine that trains on your immune system to fight your particular type of cancer. These tailor-made treatments analyze a patient's tumor and build a unique vaccine to attack it. Once seen as futuristic, they are now racing through clinical trials, some even finishing early. Experts say that the first approved personalized cancer vaccine could arrive by the end of 2025.
Pretty quick.
It is. And, the C word is one of the most troubling diseases that mankind has ever faced. Because for so many decades, there was no solution. There were things to slow it down, perhaps, chemo and radiation. But this will actually pinpoint the cause, and according to the evidence so far, it will eradicate cancer from the human health condition. From Randolph Schnack, YouTube, he says, "Hi from Wyoming," which they had videoed the robots at the White House. I didn't know that.
I didn't know they had robots at the White House either.
That is pretty cool.
The dogs? Or was that Mar-a-Lago?
I think
Like
that was
Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago, yeah, most likely. All right, well, we have come to the end of our podcast here. Next week, I hope that my two co-hosts, it's always fun having these two guys here with me, will be joining us again. And in the meantime, if you find any AI items that you'd like to report on next week, please join us and feel free to be part of the discussion. I'm Pete Gruber. We'll see you next week.